and welcome to Saving People, Queering Things, the supernatural podcast where there are sadly no actual dungeons or dragons this week.
That's called fake marketing right there. Like, what the fuck?
There's a reference. There is a reference.
That's
There's
true.
a
I guess
reference.
they didn't say the girl who plays Dungeons and Dragons, but they, well, I mean,
they kind of did.
She has a
Still
tattoo
applicable.
of a
Still
slave
applicable.
Leia bikini, like slave bikini Leia
on
on
top
a
of it.
20-sided die.
Yeah.
So if you didn't already figure that out from this intro, today we are pulling up to season 7, episode 20, The Girl with the Dungeons and Dragons Tattoo. I'm your host, August, and my pronouns are they, them.
I'm Sam. My pronouns are they, them.
I'm Elena, pronouns she, they.
And I'm Noah, pronouns he, him. And we're welcoming back our D&D co-star, the one, the only, the legendary.
Woo woo!
Yay.
That's me. I'm KJ. My pronouns are she, and I'm really happy to be here for a not D&D episode.
It's been a while since you've been here for a non-D&D episode.
But it doesn't feel like it because, like, we always record, you know, like we're talking all the time. It just doesn't feel like it's any different.
Feels very normal.
Yeah, we see you most Tuesday nights.
We all logged on, and I was ready to pull up Roll20, and I was like, okay.
I have my dice sitting next to me because I was like,
I started rolling my 20-sided die in random human interactions when I'm like, let's see, and I will just take it out of my necklace and roll it. It's really fun.
Alina, do you know what the guy that rolls for salad?
What?
Roll for
There's
sandwich?
a guy on TikTok. He rolls for sandwich. There's also a roll for salad guy.
Oh, I'm sure there's a lot of ways you can incorporate D&D into making it fun.
I'm gonna send you guys the roll for salad guy.
Please
that
do.
Has an account where he does like random names. So like depending on the number he rolls, it's like a thing. And so it'll be like, you know, a 10, a 12, a 15, and a 4. And that makes his name, I am, you know, Bigfoot Humble Scratch, or like something, just some ridiculous, like
this guy.
I'm pretty sure that's one of the cats from Cats.
Rolls for base, rolls for toppings, rolls for dressing, rolls for like salad toppers.
That's good.
And sometimes they're really good and sometimes they're really bad. It just depends on the dice.
Welcome to D&D.
Ain't that just the way? R.I.P.
Speaking of like nerdy things that people are proud of on the internet, my question today for all of you is, Charlie says, you know, talks about her tattoo.
Oh, shit.
And you know she's proud of that tattoo. You know, she's only pretending to be like, oh, you know, I was drunk, it was comic, whatever. She's proud of that tattoo. What is the nerdiest thing that you have done, own, or otherwise have that you're not really embarrassed by, but you would maybe pretend to be in certain situations?
Other than just my sheer existence on this dimension, like
yeah, you can't say being on this podcast because that's too easy of an
That
answer.
was gonna be my answer.
Sam, no.
I mean, that is probably for you, Sam. That's probably the accurate answer.
A lot of people in my life do not know about this podcast.
Well,
Not because I'm ashamed of it, but because
yeah, follow that up.
It's a little. You paused for too long.
that was damning.
Because you're a little ashamed of it.
Crickets.
I have a reputation to uphold.
See, yeah, you. Sam is, I think, the only one
And my
of the 5 of
reputation
us.
to uphold is that I will always be talking about Destiel no matter the circumstances.
I think Sam is the only one of us that maybe could be objectively cool in non-nerdy environments.
Whoa! What the fuck?
I'm sorry,
August?
Noah.
Wow.
I'm sorry. I
What
just think
the
you're too
fuck?
obviously a huge nerd.
Yeah, but
And
you
Sam
don't think
is a
I'm
lot subtler.
multi-talented?
Didn't say that. Didn't say that.
What the fuck? Okay.
No, I just said
how
I
do
don't think you can hide it well
how do
enough.
I mute somebody on the call?
Um,
I used
Whoops,
to try
that
to
happened.
assimilate
Nice
and
again,
I've
I
given
can
up.
unmute myself.
Damn it.
Okay, to actually answer your question, August, I'm gonna go first.
Is your answer also going to be mean?
No, it's gonna be cute. It's gonna be cute.
I complimented Sam and I ended up
thing I
insulting
think
Noah.
I ever did was
Is that always how it goes?
I had an Anne of Green Gables birthday party when I was 8.
Aww.
It was the 100th year anniversary of Anne of Green Gables, something I'm still obsessed with to this day. And then backup answer, I have a stuffed Jack and a stuffed Sam.
AJ, I
that
feel
I
like
got at
all of
Comic-
us like leveled up in our friendship with you by learning this information.
It's a really sweet.
I'm gonna send you guys a picture after we're done recording because my phone's in my room and not on my body at the moment. But I have a little I have 3 or 4 Anne of Green Gables figurines in this room right now.
How did I not see those when I visited you?
I
She
don't know
hid
if they
them.
were out when you visited.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
That's true. You didn't live there very long.
Speaking of things not being on your body right now, I have 8 different pop culture tattoos in no particular order. And I also have 2 separate D&D related mugs. One of which is a D20. The other one is a 1 that says, well, shit.
I love that. So you're just proving my point from earlier, Noah.
Yeah, but
Wait,
you know what?
I'd like to
I
change
also
my
have
answer,
a weed
guys.
flag that makes the weed into a pride heart.
Look, I did not say that
And
wasn't also a primary
my
aspect
neon
of your
light
personality.
up here, and I've got 2 cats. Oh.
Those are all just sort of a subsets of nerd, though, Noah. You're aware of this.
I would
That-
actually like
no,
to
that
change
is
my
not-
answer because it's a thing I never have to talk about, but I can if I choose to, and that's that my dog is named Chester, but like Chester is short for Winchester. I think I don't advertise.
I forgot that fact,
I didn't
actually.
know that. I forgot that fact.
I see mine is a tough call between the time that I cosplayed as the Impala, because that just like when you tell people you've cosplayed as a car, you get some really interesting looks. But I think the winner would probably be slept outside with a bunch of strangers to get into Hall H for San Diego Comic-Con.
Facts.
We camped
Valid.
out. I got there
Yes.
at 5 p.m. the night before, and just like randomly like sat with this group of people who knew one of the people that I had met the day prior. And we all became buddies, and we played Cards Against Humanity in the grass and ordered pizza and slept under those like blankets made of like tinfoil because they keep you really warm.
Yes.
And then I saw like everyone in the Marvel Cinematic Universe ever the next day, and it was very cool.
That's pretty
Hashtag worth it.
spectacular.
That is.
Yeah.
That is.
Piggybacking off that, because I forgot one. I did go as Spider-Man to Comic-Con one year, and an artist asked me to pose with their art piece because I looked just like it, and I was the most
That's pretty
complimented
sick.
I had ever been. And
I love this for you.
That's pretty sick.
Nothing less than what you deserve, my guy.
You're all huge nerds.
August, your turn.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Oh yes, I don't try to hide this.
Let's talk about the art piece behind you.
Oh, which one?
The Bert and Ernie one. That one's the
I
big one.
have 2 of my favorite art pieces in my house. That are both like kind of invisible distance. Actually, no, 3. I'm going to talk about 3. One is this Bert and Ernie drawing that I did on top of a rainbow flag.
Just so
As you
good.
should.
It's my favorite. Bert and
I
Ernie are
love
gay.
that one.
I have this painting that a friend of mine did for me like 10 years ago that's like Spock, but he's got like the halo, like, you know, with like old sainthood portraits. He's got like a gold foil halo. One of my most treasured pieces of art. And then I have like Destiel art that I bought from some Tumblr painter, also like a decade and a half ago. And have carried with me through many moves and still like live just above my recording space.
August, what if we get semi-matching tattoos over our chest that are like the communicators in Star Trek, like the badges, you know?
Yes.
That would be so cool.
That would be sick.
Oh,
Okay, I
would get in
do
on
have
that one.
I do have a Star Trek tattoo that I've like been planning that I like want. I know I'm gonna get that I saw once. And it's you get like a little mini Enterprise like on like your inner upper like just
Thigh.
below your knee.
Okay.
And then a line that comes out from it all the way down to like my ankle.
Ooh.
I saw it
seen
once and I was like,
with
it's so
something
sick.
similar.
Like colored lines, like rainbow colors.
Maybe.
'Cause that would be
maybe?
sick as fuck.
That would actually also be
That
cool.
would be
the
sick.
idea of like movement and then it being on like
Yeah.
that's one of I have a couple Star Trek ones I want. Communicator one would be very
Communicator
cool.
would be so cool. 'Cause you could
I
just,
feel like
tap
having it matching with someone.
Yeah.
Sick.
We could get like the different, classifications. I don't know what your preferred one is, but I would assume science.
Yeah, I gotta go science officer.
I would have
I have
to
a little
go-
pin from a cosplay from when I was in high school. Little science pin.
Why? I feel
Wait.
terrible. Why am I blanking on what the other ones are besides
Well,
science?
it's
Command and
science,
engineering.
command, and engineering. I would probably go command.
Seems right.
Yeah, I do love the yellow. Just
But
nobody pick red because
we
we
could-
need you all to live.
But we could
Um,
also we could do different eras, right? So we could do like
Yep.
one of us has like
I'm
the Discovery
doing
logo.
original.
You got TOS. Somebody could get Next
I am
Generation.
400% the outfits from the 2009 movie.
Okay,
Because that was my gig.
Ooh, alternate universe.
Drug to Star
Yeah.
Trek.
Yeah.
I mean, that's very, very.
I would probably go Discovery.
Have I ever told
Oh,
y'all
wait.
the story of like my dad when we watched
Discovery though.
I would do Section 31 whenever the Michelle Yeoh series comes out. I'm gonna do
Ooh.
the black one.
Wait, I'm sorry. When the what comes out?
The Michelle Yeoh spin-off
Do you not know
miniseries.
this,
It's gonna
Elena?
be like a 3-episode, 45-hour long
No.
episodes.
So off track.
Oh my god, it's gonna be
She's
so
my
good.
favorite. How
I
did
did
you
not
not
know
know
that.
that? Anyway, I'm sorry. Yeah, let me shut up.
No, I created this problem by asking about nerdy shit and just asked you all to share. And I don't want to stop it.
Wait, I actually have
I was gonna say Sam didn't
Sam.
fully answer.
Oh, goodness.
Please
Yeah,
tell us
sorry.
the answer.
Sam's been sitting there thinking about their answer.
Yeah,
I just assumed Sam was too cool to have something for this
Sam's
one.
the stealth nerd in this group.
wow.
Wink, wink. You play
Big.
D&D on a podcast.
I
Okay, and don't tell people in your life about it. So we're not as good as
I
That's
tell
not
them
true.
about the D&D one.
What?
that's less embarrassing than Supernatural.
Interesting. Hey, vote down in the comments below.
August, I'll be
Which
honest,
one?
I was more embarrassed to tell
Please
people
don't come
about our
for me.
hockey podcast than I was to tell them about.
As my favorite dungeon master would say, get in the comments.
Character for me. People expect me to have a supernatural podcast. The hockey went through people.
But Sam, the funniest part of that is that you telling people about the D&D podcast, it's on the same feed.
It brings them to the
I know.
Supernatural one.
I know.
For now, listeners, for now.
I feel
Ooh.
like no, but I still don't really tell. I don't like people hearing. Okay, here's the thing. Now I'm gonna feel
Settle
like
down,
I have to
settle
defend myself.
Don't.
If my friends that I am comfortable with listening to the podcast don't want to because they're very, very not nerds. So much so that they're like, I actually don't want to sit through 40 minutes of you talking about Supernatural.
I mean, we are.
relate.
And the new friends that I have, I'm trying to establish other
Credibility.
things about me first.
Okay.
Yeah, you gotta lay down a base layer.
What's that?
of-
What's that
Yeah.
like? Not establishing yourself as a huge nerd in like a first conversation. I've literally never made a friend in my entire life that I didn't start out.
August, that's why you're the anchor that brought the pod squad together.
Well, we make friends very differently, August.
Sam, what's your answer?
Why was that low-key a bit shady?
Welcome to the shady intro, guys. Everybody's
Sam's
throwing
watched me make
shade.
friends my whole life, and
I'm crying.
Oh, fuck.
Oh my god. Okay, I have two things that I think that
Oh,
are nerdy,
shit.
but maybe I will get
Shade for
I don't know, shade for it. For Halloween, I always dress up as a child, like either a movie or book character.
Oh,
Just-
I thought you were saying you dressed up as a child.
I was like,
please
that's
stop.
weird,
Please
but
stop.
okay.
no, I was like, I'm gonna ask some follow-up questions, but
There was
that's
a
not
big
like
hesitation there. I was like,
Like, we're not seeing how this is nerdy, but we
Yeah,
are a little
okay.
worried.
Yeah,
A
that's
character
something
from a
else,
children's
actually.
book. Okay.
And my cats are named after TV show characters.
Okay. I like it.
Yeah, that's pretty
They are.
nerdy.
Also, guys,
Yeah.
I think we need to do more things where we're just recording together and we're not pretending
Yeah,
to be other
just-
people, because I feel like we see each other a lot, but we're always pretending to be other people, and the vibes are over the top.
Yes. Speaking of, Sam reminded me of this whenever you like started crying while laughing so hard. On the last recording for my sibling podcast we did the other day, for like we always do a little game in the opener, like a little would you rather or whatever. Theo came with one that's a fanfic website. It's Frantic Fanfic.
Oh, that's such a good website.
Have you played it? Okay.
Yeah.
It's so chaotic. And so we
good.
set it to the 1 minute timer. So you have a minute and everybody puts out these like characters and then they shuffle them up and give them out to random people. And so then you pick two and you have to start the first section of a fanfic. And then after a minute, it stops wherever you're at. And then it passes it to the left. And then you're working on the second part of a fanfic that somebody else worked on the first part of. And then you pass it to the left.
Whoa.
And then you have to finish the third one. Well, we only did with 3 people. So it's like 3 sections.
Sounds so fun. I'm looking
And-
for things to do with our big pod squad episode.
And
And
we made them
Ooh.
explicit as fuck,
That is
and it
fun.
got so bad. It was
It's
so
like,
funny.
it's like nerdy Mad Libs.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
We are going to get into it. So you've met, now you met all of your hosts for today. It's time to catch you up. If you have not watched Supernatural recently, here is what you've missed on the road so far. So Sam, you get to recap the show up to this point. Let us know when you are ready.
I knew that this was happening, but I did not prepare.
Well, that's the way that it works best.
Yeah, pause us for like 1 second. You can keep talking. I want to put the kettle on. I want a cup of tea, but I can't move my
Yeah.
Valid.
Go kettle.
I will
That
be
is the
gone
most
for like 2
Canadian thing
seconds.
you've said all day.
Noah. I didn't Noah say?
Nope, move on.
I didn't catch it either.
I
What
didn't hear
happened?
either. Only one that heard that.
Yeah, you are.
August, go put it on.
Just go. You don't want. It's fine.
I don't want to know. I can already tell.
Yeah.
I felt bad for saying it as soon as I
I know
did.
your head.
I absolutely want to
immediately
know.
after
I
you
just
said
wasn't
it.
paying enough attention. What did you say?
Not a nice word.
No, it wasn't a nice word, but I meant it in a nice way. I said, you go, kettle hoe. It was so bad.
You said way worse
said it
things.
really
What?
quietly.
So much more innocent and so much worse at the same time.
Yeah, like I answered the word I expected to hear. Like that wasn't
Oh.
even in my top 3 guesses, but like
Wait, what were your top 3 guesses?
But and then his head went
Think I'm
down
gonna drop the C
immediately
word
after
right
he
now?
said it.
Yeah,
He was like,
exactly.
"Oh,
That's what Noah, that's what I thought. Because you're Noah and
what I
you
expected.
go there.
Wow.
I'm sorry, I have no context to go on except for the
No,
fact that
this
you
is
felt
not,
really bad
like-
for saying it.
Saying that is not like a bad moral judgment on you. That is you
No.
always go for it, and
That was
that's why we
based
love
solely
you.
on your reaction to what you said.
But I don't think I've said that word on this podcast.
No, you haven't,
ever.
but it's
No, you
it's
haven't.
there. I know you're thinking it sometimes. Like, I don't know.
Sometimes, but never in a derogatory way.
Find that word, to
No,
be really
of course
honest.
not.
In the reclaimed way, like that's
Yeah.
working on. August, wait, let me clarify. I saw your face. I did not say the C word when I said
No, I didn't think you
No, thank you.
I also don't
Thank you.
care. I
No.
also
But
don't
it's hilarious
No.
what he said. It's actually not a fancy
What
thing.
did
No,
he say?
I said-
I walked
said-
away for 30 seconds.
I feel like his reaction to it was better than the actual, like, just
Yeah,
watching
how you
him be like,
hyped it
"Oh,
up.
I'm gonna tell. I'm sorry. You said I'm gonna go put the kettle on, and I said, "Oh, you go, kettle hoe." And that was it.
Delightful.
I got drowned out by me saying in
do-
response to August that's the most Canadian thing I've heard all day.
do need you to like hang on to that one though, Noah, and make sure you bring that back because that's very funny.
Wait,
I do need it to be a thing now.
Oh, okay. Oh, shit.
So what I'm hearing is that after this call, I'm going to be designing a sticker that says "You go."
Yes.
Oh my
Oh my
God,
God, please do. I would put that
And it's got to
everywhere.
be like
Yeah.
the hand,
Won't be
That's
the first
going on
or the
my
last
fridge.
time I've spent an episode making something for us in Canva.
You're a delight. Okay, Sam, let's recap the show.
Okay.
Are you ready?
What's that episode that we actually really want to talk about?
Right, that I have so much to say on. Like, it's not like this is a short episode.
Talk about.
We just like each other too much.
It's
That's
funny
our
when
problem.
KJ
It's
said,
a good
okay, this is,
problem.
I swear this is the last tangent I'm going on. It is connected. When KJ said we need to spend more time together where we're not pretending to be other people, I was like, well, I know this is our like podcast persona, but like we are still like
I
being
was also
ourselves.
confused
And
about
then
that.
like
No,
30
I meant
seconds
the
later, I
fictional
was like,
people
right,
that we pretend to be.
D&D. Right, that's
Like,
usually when we're hanging out.
85% of the time that we're recording those episodes, we are not ourselves. We are other people.
Yep. Yep. I did
Hey,
get
KJ?
there. It just took me longer than
I knew what you meant right off the bat,
Yeah. No, it gets me.
but maybe
I
it's
also
because
was
I
like,
have to
that's a
pretend
weird
to
way
be
of
more
saying-
people.
No, I'm
Because I
saying
was
it's
on
so
our
right,
right,
I
and
am really this feral
don't.
in real life.
Yes, you are. It's delightful.
I pretend to be other people on the
Back at
daily.
you, friend. Like, it's just-
It was so easy.
Literally,
to
like one of my in my top 10 memories of life was when we did the running hug in that lobby, and the guy was like, "I want to be on y'all's spot." It was just
And
so
we were like,
fun.
we've literally never met before in person.
I think
Yeah.
just
And then
to
he was
like
like, "What?"
offset that, the first time we meet up, Elena, I'm gonna be like the most basic, boring vibe about it.
Right.
And just try
I'm
to be
gonna
like,
no,
uh,
you're gonna need to
hey, what's
brace
up?
yourself, because if you don't, you're gonna get plowed over into a hug.
Although, Noah, I would bet some serious money that you would not be able to.
No,
do that.
I wouldn't.
Couldn't
I'd
be
be like,
Joe.
okay,
And I also
2 seconds.
All right, Sam, are you ready?
As ready as I'm gonna be.
All
'Cause,
right.
I mean, I don't know. We kind of rushed you into this.
Getting harder and harder to do
rushed.
this.
We took 20 minutes. What do you mean rushed?
That was the joke, Elena. God.
All right. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so there are these brothers that fight monsters, and their dad kind of taught them how, but like not really greatly. And then he died, and we don't really care. Then they have another dad that we love and who took care of them, and he also died, and we cared a lot. But he's back? Question mark, kind of. And anyways, the boys go around and they fight all these monsters. There's demons and vampires and werewolves, and most recently leviathans, which are the head monster of all, and they're really hard to kill. And that's what they're working on now.
Well done.
So very close to
Well
perfect.
That was really good.
Hey, I'm just saying, I didn't hear a single mention of Castiel or Angels there. So you know what? I respect it and I love you.
You know
but...
what? He's been gone for a while.
Yep.
But he just got back.
But then
I know.
He's gone again.
It's not really bad.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, he was immediately
Yeah,
gone
that's
again.
true.
Sam,
Not really.
I'm
It's
sorry.
all right, but
Dead.
but we are not here to talk about Castiel. Well, we are, but
No.
we're not here distinctly in this episode to talk about Castiel. Though we will come up in a part of this episode. But speaking of which, Elena, are you ready to recap this week's episode?
Never. Let's do it.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
So somebody is trying to like hack into Roman Enterprises, and we find out that it is one Charlie Bradbury, or is it? And she's this really cool nerdy person who has like a cool 20-sided die tattoo, and she helps Sam and Dean to hack into Frank's thing because Frank is deed, and so they have to go, and she has to learn how to flirt with men from Dean Winchester because that's canon, and it is really awful, and like she almost like doesn't succeed, but then she does, and then she says peace out bitches, and it's great, and Dean says he wants her sister.
Fantastic.
Incredible.
Oh my gosh.
I'm so sorry I didn't mention Bobby at all, but that's because I'm just
Yeah, you know
so
what?
Charlie focused because
No, you really
Charlie
gave us
is my
Charlie.
favorite character.
And that's
I
all.
think this is just
We
the
need-
episode where I get let down by all my co-hosts. Oh, he says
So,
I'm
do you
not
need to give a
cool.
recap so that you
Sam
can
doesn't
talk about
mention
what you need to talk about?
Castiel. Elena doesn't mention Bobby. I can't with this.
He'll be in his trailer and he throws his
I was like, do I have the ability to mute Noah? I don't have the ability to do that. I was going to try to. I can't, though, apparently.
Wah, ha, 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 ha.
So, now that we're all caught up, it is time for this week's hunt. And today we are pulling up to season 7, episode 20, The Girl with the Dungeons and Dragons Tattoo, through the theme of individuality. Yay! That's the theme for our girl.
Such a great opening
Man.
to Charlie as a character.
I
Which-
love her.
Okay,
You knew it was coming.
knew it was coming.
Noah?
Knew it was coming this season. Fucking love Charlie. Oh my god.
Of course you do,
She's so
because
great.
you have a soul.
Yes, and I have eyes
Also
and
about the
emotions.
characters making
Taste.
And
Thank you, Robbie Thompson.
yes, thank you.
Everyone say thank you, Robbie Thompson. Thank you.
you, Robbie Thompson.
And thank you, Felicia Day. We can't subtract how important she was to this development of the character.
Yeah,
That's
Felicia
true.
Day's incredible.
Yes, facts.
And no one could have played that role like she did.
Very true.
So true.
I also have to give a shout out to a friend of mine, Micaiah, who years ago, once I joined the podcast, was like, oh yeah, you're going to fucking love Charlie. Just wait for that. Just wait for it.
I
Yeah.
have
you know what?
waited so much to talk about Charlie around you because
Mhm.
she's my sweet,
She's an
precious
icon and
baby.
legend. And this is just the beginning. And Kaya, you were right.
Charlie's my biggest challenge when I'm writing fanfic and I want like Noah or Jamie or Abby Jo to see it. I'm like, I can't like not include Charlie.
That's so fair. But you know what? Now you sort of can. Sort of. I mean, and there's a lot more development that she's going to get. But
The base layer is there.
yes,
Yes.
now we know. Still can't have any Jack or whatever. But anyway, the way that they do the classic spy cuts, you know, like where they move half the screen to the other side, they've got the same shot or
Yeah.
the same thing happening with different angles in each corner. Oh, fuck, it was so well done. It felt so Mission
Again,
Impossible retro.
It's very much giving like Bradbury. Charlie
so
Bradbury.
good.
They have fun with the like playing with like TV genre trope again with this episode, and every time Supernatural does that, it's really fun.
So fun.
And like I love that the show at this point, you know, and this is like it's going to continue to do this, but like I feel like the show at the beginning was sort of a little embarrassed. Like, which goes wrong with the question I asked you all earlier, but like kind of the show was a little embarrassed of being nerdy and of its characters being nerdy in like seasons, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4. And now, like, not fully, but like
Okay,
there were
yeah.
moments.
Yeah.
Like whenever
Yeah.
the characters, like whenever, especially whenever Sam or Dean would sort of be nerdy, it was sort of like, haha, that's funny.
Yeah,
and
they're
the
always
show is
dunking on
really-
each other for it.
And now the show is like a little bit more affection. Like the show tone feels a little more affectionate. Like yes, like Charlie is nerdy, but that's treated with like affection, not mockery. And like even 17's nerdiness in this, they give each other grief for it. But the show itself sort of goes like, this actually helps Charlie.
It's a
like
strength.
this actually,
Yeah.
that's
do like
exactly.
that.
This is the same, if I am correct. Yeah, this is the same season that's got Becky in it. So like, you know, to show like it really does show some growth, I think, to have
really does.
We just recorded our episode for season 5, episode 1, which is the first Becky episode ever.
Yeah.
And like the tone shift from that to this, astronomical.
Astronomical.
It's like, we don't hate like nerds.
Like Becky's whole room is filled with supernatural merch, and Charlie's whole apartment is filled with all kinds of merch. But like they're not. It's not the same thing.
No, I mean, if we're talking about like individuality, like it does feel a little bit like Charlie's, like Becky's fan nature is sort of treated not in that way, whereas like Charlie's, like her individuality is, again, like Noah said, her strength. And
I think a lot of that, like, not to be, you know, my typical Robbie apologist self, but like it comes from the fact that like he's a nerd, like, and he loves it. Like, you can tell, like, I love the way that you worded that, August. Like there is an affection narratively for Charlie and for the nerdy references this time around that is just very refreshing. And it just gets more overwhelmingly awesome in that regard as we go forward.
And this is only Robbie's 3rd episode.
Really?
That's crazy.
This is his 3rd episode.
This is John McCarthy.
Charlie is the first character
one
that he like introduced.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like recurring character. Yeah, he previously wrote on Slash Fiction and Time After Time.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Both good episodes.
Yeah. This is
Very
John
good.
McCarthy, the director's first of 4 episodes of Supernatural he directs. So like he's also coming to this like pretty well fresh.
Okay.
And you feel it. It feels fresh, but it still feels like it knows the source material.
Yeah, he definitely watched the show, or at least the best
It's
episodes.
crazy. This episode is from like 2012, which is
April
so long ago. But
you've given me a good segue to make just one point, and we don't have to spend much time on this. But like, this is one of those episodes with like the Tumblr dodgeball gift of prophecy, because we have in this episode from that time both a Joe Biden reference, and I don't know if y'all noticed.
Oh no, I saw. Oh, fucking best believe I noticed, Elena. Best believe.
The one
I
email
the emails.
I didn't hear
that
you.
pops up.
Oh
Private
yes,
jet.
Talking about it says private jet required a courtesy of Mr. Trump, and I was like,
mother.
This is a bad place. This is a
I
bad
wasn't pausing to read Dick Roman's emails. That
that was what I did. I was like, did that because I saw the name, and I was
didn't
like,
have to
make
pause.
Trump too, and I was like, I didn't catch that before.
I watched this with again. I watched this episode with Sam's roommate, and I literally we both had a good chuckle at both the Biden reference
I was
and
watching
the Trump
it
emails.
on the TV, and I switched it over to my laptop so that I could go and pause on as many emails as I could.
I didn't even do that, but I saw jet provided by name redacted
I
evil
just saw
ass motherfucker.
I just saw name redacted and was like, wait a second, ran it back, and then
That was the
like,
only thing I saw too.
Important note for us to just say, we're recording this on October 29th of 2024. I just want to say that
we
because
don't know what
no.
the outcome's gonna
I
be.
feel like that's
you know
important
what?
if we're making these references and these jokes. I don't want to sound like we're making light of any of this.
No,
No.
we are not.
Yeah.
Because
we're doing it because if we
Fascinating
don't,
meta.
two-fifths of the chat is American, and we are, let's just say, stressed. Let's just
I'm
say
not well about that right
hopeful
now.
for the positive outcome.
Hey,
and you know what? I'm gonna manifest that by the time this episode comes out, it's a positive outcome, and that motherfucker is not back in the chair.
Hey, yes. And you know what? Like, we just had a provincial election where I live, where Sam and I live, and obviously with like way less stakes. It was a very close election between someone with really pretty inhumane conservative policies versus like another candidate who also has significant issues, but at least is not trying to take rights away.
Yeah.
And, our election squeaked by in the positive. So I'm manifesting that same thing for you in next week.
I do want to talk about the Joe Biden reference scene. Not because I care particularly about Joe Biden. But Dick Roman's pocket square looks like a little crown in that scene.
It's the details with Dick Roman. Like, he's actually, like, I know that he's not the same, like, he's not the same as some of the other really iconic, like, villains in Supernatural seasons, but he is still like a really interesting, like,
I like his like we've had a lot of like corporate vibes from like the Angels, like even more recently the Demons, like post season 5. But like the Leviathans are like really digging deep into the corporate overlord.
And maybe that's because, back when they were allowed to roam free and whatnot, there was a very clear hierarchy that they like followed, and then they got locked away in a space for a long time, and then they came out and they're like, oh yeah, we know this. We're good with this. We can take over.
They're really good.
I did find it really interesting, the line he says to her when she's like, yeah, you can't clone me, haha, and he's just like, don't think that doesn't make me angry. And I'm like,
he says, don't think that doesn't make me piss me off. Like, he's
he says things in a very like corporate boss type of way where it's like, haha, you could take this as a compliment, or you could actually like read it for what it is,
or you could take it as a threat, which it usually like always is. But he's so like
smiley and slimy and
like precise with his language.
Yeah,
that you're like, ooh, technically nothing you said is threatening, but also everything you said is threatening.
He's extremely calculated.
Yes, so
good
calculated. Especially really because the difference before Charlie reads Frank's notes and after, like, you can see the difference in realization for her. Like, beforehand, she's like, oh, that's a weird way to phrase things. Okay, whatever, move on. And then after she knows that they, like, eat people and they take over.
It almost downplays the scene at the beginning. Like, downplays
like
the
one
first couple interactions.
Like, the one where she's like, oh, I like realized the only way to get away with being me is to like make myself indispensable versus like, I guess you can't call me. Like, Felicia Day is incredible.
Love her.
She does such a good job.
And a legend.
She does such a good job showing this. And like, if I'm thinking about like that theme of individuality, like the difference between like Charlie and the Winchesters and Dick is that like Dick is very intentional to kind of scrub any elements of individuality in this sort of like corporate persona that he's putting out. Whereas like for Charlie and for the Winchesters, like it is those things that make them really unique and different that are like what saves them in the end and what allows, like, again, he says, you can't clone you. Like that's the thing. Like
the idea of like
be replaced.
Hey, even if like a Leviathan did a Leviathan thing where they like had all of the knowledge of everything Charlie knows, they still wouldn't be Charlie.
Yeah.
And I think
we've seen them pretty convincingly be Sam and Dean.
They were okay convincing, except they caused mass murder across.
Yeah.
Like just a slight difference there.
But like those Leviathans that like were pretending to be Sam and Dean, like had a pretty solid understanding of Sam and Dean. Like they weren't fans, but like they were like, wow, these guys are fucked up.
In that like scene later on where we see Dick and Charlie interacting, I think, there's a tone shift with Charlie because she like now knows things. But I think there's also a tone shift with Dick where he's like, okay, I've given her this thing. Like he's not stupid.
No.
Yeah.
Like I think maybe there's some piece of him that like he's like, okay, maybe she knows, and he's being less.
I think he's testing her. He's like he's saying things specifically and watching her and being like, did anything
How
change
long could
with
she
you?
pretend she doesn't know Sam and Dean Winchester?
It's all there's also a little bit of element of like him playing with his food, like that's sort of what it feels like. He's like, I'm getting what I need out of you, and like then I'm going to like dispose of you. And he's like, how much can I like let her know that that's what's going to be happening without actually letting her know?
He even tells like her boss to like go get a snack, and she knows what that means because she saw it.
Dropping hints.
That
because he knows that she might know or might be able to figure it out. It's because like before he's not doing that with her.
Yeah.
At first.
No, he just sort of like plays the role she expects him to play in the first interaction, which is like to be like, do this or you're fired, which is like an asshole boss move, but like isn't inherently monstrous. This episode is so like well plotted too. Like I think just this episode is I don't know where else I was going with that.
Charlie having a replica of Sting in the apartment and breaking it on Sam when he comes in is both iconic and amazing, but also just a statement on how thick Jared Padalecki is. He's just like Okay, I shrugged that off. Like, what's up?
And it breaks like a plastic sword, not like a foam sword.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like like. It also says, she whacked it pretty good.
Had
reminds
to.
me
I love the Arwen background because like
Oh
literally
my God.
Oh yeah.
I had that background on my computer circa 2004. So I was like, this is ridiculous to me that she has it.
She's such a nerd of her era.
Yeah.
An Arwen background at some point.
She's perfectly a nerd of her era. And like, fortunately there's a few references that like don't age super well. Like there's a lot of
Oh God.
The story that we don't talk about.
The story who shall not be named.
Yeah, exactly.
I do think it's very important to note that throughout, the sequence where Charlie's breaking in, like starting it with Sam coaching her through actually getting moving by using her fandom connections as strength, and like him knowing that and knowing, like, I don't think there was anything in her apartment that spoke to that fandom that we saw, at least obviously.
I think he just inferred.
Yeah, he inferred. He knew,
which was correct.
Hey, if you like Lord of the Rings, probably gonna like this other one. Who's your favorite character? I bet it's this one because you have a lot of similar vibes.
A Lord of the Rings computer background. She's wearing a Princess Leia t-shirt. Like, just
she's got the Princess Leia
dots
tattoo
together.
D&D. Oh, he doesn't know about that till later, but
and he does. Yeah, like I think he does such a good job of like going. And again, it's like the show like allows it to be a strength and allows it to be like a moment. It makes sense for Sam's strengths that's like what he picks out.
Yeah,
and I love the idea because like that's really, I don't know, it's a really meaningful like personal idea to me. The idea that like a character's strength can be sort of like a boon to you in your own, like I've definitely done things that I was scared to do because I've thought about a fictional character doing that.
Like getting out of bed every morning. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, like I used to pretend on really boring days. This is what I should have said earlier.
That's not your answer.
I know what you're gonna say.
Please do.
But pretending I was in Starfleet was like a common fantasy to get through boring days. So I was like, there are boring days on a starship.
Why did you mention that when I talked about the tattoo?
I pretend I was in the academy when I was in college.
Oh my God, I fucking love that.
Listen, if I would be lying if I said I didn't totally, while I was in college, call it Hogwarts all the time.
Oh, of course. Okay. So August, it baffles me that you just said that super cool statement, super motivational, and like fandom motivates you to get out through the day and like live your life, and you still haven't watched I Saw the TV Glow, because that whole movie is basically about that whole concept about how fandom can help guide you and shape you in both positive and negative ways. And if anybody out there hasn't seen it, please do. It's phenomenal.
I'm sorry,
I'm
just terrible at watching things that people tell me to.
It's got bisexual. It's phenomenal. I
really am intending to. I'm just terrible at watching things when people tell me to.
I hear you. By the time this episode comes out, you will have.
Yeah, I've been No Thoughts Head Empty Only Vox Machina for weeks now. It's
please.
I was gonna say this is so classically Sam. Like it made me feel nice watching him do that because he's so like this is such a Sam move in that like he's identifying where someone what people need in a moment where they're scared. Like this is
he's meeting her where she is.
Yeah, and he does that so many times with victims and like people that they interact with
and Dean
that are very new to monsters. There's so much compassion in the way that he does it. And like really, I don't know. I liked it.
It's very strong. He has an ability to recognize where people draw their strength.
Yeah.
And that's important for somebody who is going to be dealing with people in crisis,
Yeah, and he's so good at it.
Yeah.
He did so good. I have a really important Dean Winchester question, and that's when did Dean Winchester watch Veronica Mars? Because Veronica Mars was on from 2004 to 2007, which if you put it in the Supernatural timeline is like
right about season 1,
pre-season 1 to season 2, 3.
Okay. Yeah.
And this was before the movie.
Love that.
Okay, yeah. What about the revival was way later?
Yeah, so the movie was in 2014. This was 2012.
But what about the season 4? Didn't they bring it back?
That was after the movie.
Oh, okay.
Well, and Kristen Bell, like this, I'm taking this from the Supernatural wiki. Like Kristen Bell was the original choice to play Ruby.
Oh.
Really?
Wait, which
Yeah.
version?
Probably
Original
1.0.
Okay.
OG.
Season
okay.
We could have had it all, guys.
But they were looking for blonde Ruby. But yeah, all of a sudden I was like, I really need a Winchester's Veronica Mars crossover thing, and I think Kristen Bell would slay that.
Oh my god, it would have been so fun.
I love that that's a reference Dean makes too. Like again, we're just kind of getting Dean throwing out.
I love that he watched it, or at least is aware of a show about a teenage detective that aired like all of these like season 1, season 2, season 3 things were going.
Sounds like a good comfort show for like that era.
But Dean had like, less than a year to live. Was he watching season 3 of Veronica Mars?
Oh, you know it. And
The answer is
speaking
yes.
to Dean's queerness, like that show when it first came out was geared towards women, right? Like that was like how it was like designed,
marketed.
quote unquote.
No, what a marvelous Dean being gay segue you're providing.
What a marvelous segue right into the next part of Charlie sneaking into the Dick's office.
How does he know how to flirt with men so well?
He's just so
I wonder
Right like that. If not,
it's just so natural that's where he goes. Like he pivots so quickly. He goes like, "You're gonna flirt your way past," and then she's like, "I can't do that," and he's like, "Well, I can," and like immediately.
Wait, but he's
no
like,
issues.
"What are you talking? Like, he's not your type. Okay, you got to get past it. Deal with it." And she's like, "Well, he's not a woman," and he's like, "Oh, okay, queer people represent. Okay, I got you.
He's like, "Okay, I can talk you." He's so. This is the thing. Is the implication is Charlie can't flirt with a man because she's not into men, but Dean can flirt with a man because he's.
Wow, have you been working out? Because that's a
Like it's just
Dean
you
can't
you draw the
see this guy.
lines and people try to argue that like in this scene like this that like Dean is like that Dean's saying because Dean says later on in that scene he like says side eyes to Sam, he's like, "We're never talking about this, like this never happened," and people try to interpret that as like he's not like he's embarrassed about this, and I'm like, no, that's not what this is at all,
because there's
like,
zero hesitation between her saying, "Well, I can't do it because he's not a woman," and he's like, "Oh,
he's embarrassed
okay,
because Sam is watching him flirt, not because flirting with a man."
And then for him to be such a chaos bisexual that he goes, "Yeah, just picture Scarlett Johansson when you get home." Like amazing, iconic.
And Charlie's little smirk, like, "Oh, okay, nice."
And there's just a clear solidarity between these two characters immediately. The trust building that happens in that scene.
Well, I really I'm going back to my Sam comment, but Sam and Dean are such a good team right now in this scene because Sam like takes it first where he's like knows exactly what Charlie needs to hear. And then Dean takes over and does exactly what Charlie needs. And they do it so, like in their own ways. That's just so perfect for their characters.
Yeah. Sam's like, "You need to be a nerd. I got you." Dean's like, "You need to be gay. I got you." Like, it just is perfect.
I have a follow-up question about Charlie, and that's where did she just know where to get a surveillance van?
Now, see, I thought that was more the brothers, but you know what? They did
I feel like it's more
she
like
set it up.
She set it all up. But even then, where did they just get a surveillance van? Like, I know that they don't have like their own car at the moment.
Like,
but
she probably just resourceful. She probably just like Lena said, she probably just
sitting around though.
Well,
she probably just hacked a work order and was like diverted an already existing surveillance truck.
That's true.
That's an option. But my headcanon personally would be that the person that Charlie hooked up with at the benefit function worked for a surveillance company. And she hit her up and was like, "Hey, can I borrow a van for tonight?" And she was like, "Oh yeah, of course, no problem. Here you go." And then Charlie like connected it all to you know, the Dick's.
Well, because especially when Charlie makes the mention where she's just like, "I just met somebody."
Right.
There's a good week.
Oh, poor thing.
Charlie.
I do want to say, go back off. Can I say something off of what Sam said?
Yes.
That's
just
what my
like
thing was.
I like that you pointed out how well the brothers are working together, because I think that's really true in like this whole episode, because it also extends past that to like how they're handling the Bobby stuff. Like they're very cohesive right now.
Last time I was here, it was bad.
Which we have not seen in a while.
They have had a couple of episodes in a row now where like they're working, their communication is pretty good. Like it's really, really interesting to see. Noah.
My theory about that is that it's because of Charlie. Like that's why it's so good in this episode, is because Charlie activates for the first time in the brothers' lives, maybe ever, that we've seen on screen, both of their older brother genes. You know, Charlie is automatically the younger sibling that comes in and they have to protect and take care of, but also like Charlie knows her shit. She knows more hacking stuff than Sam does. He's impressed by that. Like she knows more about like a lot of different stuff that they don't know about, but they both are automatically like protective of her. Like
I'd like that they both got little sister vibes off of her
Yes.
immediately. Also, when Ghost Bobby is in the elevator with Charlie and she's all like, I'm in, and she's just like being a goof, he has this like little smile and I'm like, Bobby, you would have been a good girl, Dad.
Bobby,
Oh,
she's his daughter.
So
Okay.
Bobby deserved to get to
adopted
meet
Charlie
Charlie
immediately.
properly.
Yes, I 100%
It's like the tragedy
agree.
of this episode is that they don't have them interact.
And
It's so sad. He's there with her the whole time, and like he really like holds out on his whole ghost thing because she's there. And like, if he was alive, like Sam and Dean would have brought Charlie home, and Bobby would have been like, "Okay, yeah, I got another kid."
Yeah, like he would have just been like, "Yep, that one's mine too."
They just have such instant family vibes.
Oh, I do have a possible segue to mixtape.
that's what I was trying to do. Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead. No,
No, because
But I just started crying about the idea of Charlie meeting Bobby. That's fine. Go ahead. Can't talk about that anymore.
you sure?
Yeah, no, I don't.
Are you okay?
I don't want to talk about Charlie and Bobby meeting because I'm mad that it didn't happen. It makes me sad. So, Elaine,
Okay.
please go
Okay,
ahead.
we do have to come back to more Bobby related stuff for your sake.
yeah.
You know we will.
Yeah. But my mixtape suggestion is inspired by one of my favorite lines from this episode, and from the show in general, which is just, I was drunk. It was Comic-Con.
Yeah,
Which-
and then Dean's response, "We've all been there."
We've all been
Yep.
there.
Very
You've
important.
been there, Dean? You've been drunk at Comic-Con?
Been drunk
I
at
believe that
Comic-Con.
Sam's been drunk at Comic-Con. I would like to know the exact circumstances in which Dean found himself drunk at Comic-Con.
I think
I'm not
Dean
surprised.
I think
reluctantly
Dean
went
is
with
more of a
Sam.
nerd, but I think
I
Sam's
think he
more willing to do
reluctantly
that.
would have gone with Sam and then
Yeah.
realized that he loved it and
Oh,
tried
we
Had
could
a
see
to.
him
better
in-
time than Sam.
What about high school? Like I could see them being like
Yes.
Sam dragging him along in high school, and then Dean being like, "Oh, I can just like my nerdy the things I'm like kind of hiding. I can just like those things here. Wow, this is
This is
great." And then
crazy.
going back, I could see him then just being like especially when they're separated, like the Stanford years. I could see Dean just being like
Oh.
going to conventions in towns when he is not hunting.
Which let's just like think about how many times these actors have been to Comic-Con together since that
Yeah.
line.
Aw.
it's so many times.
Oh, and
my
they have been
God.
drunk at some
Yes.
Comic.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
Every time Jensen comes in, just holding that mug, that cup of coffee so close to his chest on a Sunday morning, I'm like, Jensen, we all know what you were doing last night. It's fine.
Okay, but next
but
thing, yes.
to the mixtape, the reason that made me think of a song that I hold very dear to my heart, which is "Shut Up and Dance with Me."
Oh yes.
Ooh.
Why am I forgetting who sings that? Is it?
Walk the Moon.
It is okay. I was gonna say "Walk the Moon," but my brain was collapsing. Yeah, "Shut Up and Dance." Because one, I feel like that song has like like I can picture Charlie also dancing to that one in the elevator.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But because I have every time I hear that song, I am immediately like teleported through time back to the ball at GeekyCon 2014. No, GeekyCon 2015. And they were both very similar cons, but one of them was like more open-ended. And that one was the one where like I remember that song came on at the ball and just everyone in the room was losing their shit. So it's just a bunch of people in like either fancy outfits or cosplays or fancy cosplays jumping around joyfully singing that song at the top of their lungs after a weekend of geeking out. So
That
is
was an absolute high school dance staple for my generation.
oh my Christ. I was out of college, KJ. Don't make me feel
If
old.
I'm at a party now and that song comes on and nobody else loses their shit, I'm leaving that party immediately.
Yeah, sir.
I'm with you. I'm with you there, man.
Valid.
I
That's
had a
my-
really tough mixtape pick. I went on a journey to
Yeah,
get
you
to
did.
one. I started with Robin since apparently that like Charlie like that was one of the things that was going well for Charlie in her week. But then I abandoned that and I started scrolling through some Charlie playlists and there are some really good ones out there. And I was really tempted to pick the Boulder from the Tortured Poets Department album, but I didn't because like 6 playlists in, I saw the perfect song, and that song was Femininomenon by Chaperone.
Oh
Ooh.
yeah.
Oh.
Oh yes.
Yes.
I saw it.
Yes.
I was like, whoa. I just sit
That
down.
was very good.
Also, as a neurospicy group of people, I feel like you'll appreciate this. I saw a meme yesterday and it was like trying to like replicate the phenomenon, but it was using at the beginning of it was acetaminophen.
Like, oh, I've seen that. It's hilarious.
Like,
so funny.
God.
And I was like, wait a minute, it's me.
I saw someone make a TikTok making a joke about that, about migraines. It was very funny.
It's the perfect Charlie song because, like, yeah, we do need a girl to do this for us. And also, like, Chapel Roan's a queer icon.
Also, Charlie would have fucking loved Chapel Roan.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Headcanon for everyone to enjoy. Charlie and Dean at a Chapel Roan concert.
Honestly, Jared went to a Chapel Roan concert a few weeks ago, and that all I thought about was Sam Winchester. Jared and Jen were at a Chapel Roan concert a few weeks back.
I keep seeing this thing on Tumblr where it's like Jared Padalecki got to go to the Chapel Roan concert, but it should have been Castiel.
That's true. That's true.
It looked like Jared and Jen had a really good time, but yeah, I do agree. Castiel should have been there.
Yeah, like a hangout of like Cass, Dean, and Charlie at a Chapel Roan concert. That's my
the
new
boyfriends and his younger sister. Yeah,
I'll be
the one
that
they say they're going to the concert for, but
yeah,
we're just going with Charlie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Charlie needs an escort.
Okay, my next tape is related. I chose "That's My Girl" by Fifth Harmony.
Aw,
great pick.
Charlie vibes.
Yes. Oh,
I
I
love
love
that.
that.
Being a badass.
that's a good choice. That's a good choice.
Phenomenal.
I can't say it. Every time I try to do it, it's that phenomena thing from the Muppets.
I can only say it if I'm kind of half singing because then I can get it properly.
I have to go in full punch, and it helps if I also have it in front of me. Like
smart.
The word is on the screen in front of me.
If it's in front of me, that makes it worse for me.
Yeah, me too.
I'm more likely to
just
like
I was
yeah, then I'm just like, this is just making me hungry.
It's Mississippi all over again.
I have a really hard time with the word phenomenon or phenomenon, like just on its own. So like when you add in extra
noms
syllables,
and oms, and it's like, what the fuck? Come on.
It is difficult, but somehow
the noms.
I think the extra syllables might actually help.
Okay.
Because I think I try to add extra syllables when I say phenomenon anyways. So like I think adding extra syllables is actually easier for me.
Totally fair. My mixtape pick this week is one that I have been holding out on for a while, even though my first instinct was to do it as soon as the song came out, because it's a fucking phenomenal song by a fucking phenomenal artist. But speaking to how Charlie activates the younger sibling or the older sibling genes in both Sam and Dean, I have to pick Kid Again by John motherfucking Bellion. Icon legend.
I knew it had to be a John Bellion song.
Yeah, I was like, if it's not John Bellion, it's 21 Pilots.
Mm-hmm.
Based on how many times you said fuck in the space of like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
That's the key indicator that we're about to get a John Bellion song.
Yes. And you know what? Side note, I cannot wait until after Elena and I have gone on our road trip next year and I have indoctrinated Elena fully into the family of the John Bellion cult. And I will not be the only person bringing forth John Bellion songs from that point out. I'm confident.
Yeah.
I cannot wait for that. But this song really speaks. He wrote it, it's his first song back after 6 years. He's writing it for himself because he got all his masters back and he's on his own record label and he's like phenomenal.
Is he phenomenal?
I tried, but nope. But this song's all about like having the passion to work for yourself and like do stuff that you just want to do, and you have the freedom to do it, and you feel like a kid again, embracing that wonder across the world. And it's like that's sort of how Charlie sees the world, but it's also how Dean and Sam see the world through Charlie. They have that freedom to express
and
themselves.
Not to speak for people, but I feel like as a podcast generally, that's our vibe.
Yeah, that's big.
Absolutely our vibe.
Ticks every box.
My mixtape, I went back and forth because I was like, I need something to express the era that Charlie comes in at, and like, and then it got me thinking about like the nerdy kind of like the real niche nerdy things that like were popular in that era and that I remember, and that like anyway. So I went back and forth. I was like, do I have a song by the Double Clicks or do I have a song by Hank Green? Ooh. And I really struggled because I wanted both. So I think I'm going to share one of both.
Why not do both?
I'm going to share one of both. So I think the one that matches the episode more is the Double Clicks, the song called "We're All Gonna Die." it's like got this. It's like I'm just gonna read a couple of lines. There are solvable problems. Everything's got a price. Dance like nobody's watching. We're all gonna die.
Okay.
It's like so like it's such a like it's a bop. It's a bop, but it's incredibly nerdy. It's incredibly like self-referential, and it's all about like you gotta choose to live your life because like we're all gonna die. I think it's very much
And
like
it's
where
got
Charlie
that,
gets
ominous positivity.
ominous positivity is exactly it. It turns out I'm still bad at roller skating, but I've got no regrets. I learned something. I left my house. Consequences haven't stopped me yet. Like it feels very Charlie. I highly recommend the Double Clicks in general. Like they're just a very fun band, like very nerdy. This is from an album that's called The Book Was Better. They're like very quintessentially like 2010s.
I've only heard a few of them, but I will have to go back.
I almost used This Is My Jam, but then I remembered the reason I thought of it was because Ian used that like back in season 2.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And so then that got me being like, okay, I gotta use a different Double Click song. Anyway, that's my Double Click song. The Hank Green one is sort of on the same sort of realm, and the song is I Fucking Love Science by Hank Green and the Perfect Strangers.
I fucking love science.
It's just like it's a song about love and science, and it feels very Charlie-esque. Like, you know, it has some really fun like lines. You know, sometimes people ask me of all the centuries which I'd pick to live life in. That's pretty easy right now if you think objectively. If you like hot running water and memory foam beds and TV shows and cell phones and not being dead, then you fucking love science. Like it feels like a song Charlie. Like if the Double Click song, it feels like a song that like exemplifies Charlie as a person. This song feels like a song that just Charlie would like.
Yeah.
Like you are not telling me that Charlie isn't a huge nerd fighter. Like she just
absolutely
is. She's in that realm.
And I'm pretty sure Felicia Day came onto Hank and John Green's podcast at one point.
They have
collaborated so many times.
Yeah. It's a
If I get Hank Green and Felicia Day on a Brennan-led campaign,
wait,
I
guys,
will be.
I love Hank Green so much.
This is my campaign. Starting after this episode airs, I'm going to tweet at Felicia Day every month asking her to come on the next Charlie appearance on our show.
The next Charlie appearance is my favorite. It's like maybe my favorite episode of the entire show.
It's the best comfort episode ever.
It's my ultimate comfort episode.
And here's my one request that you guys give me, spoiler free, but you know, semi. You have to tell me which episode it is. But I will tweet at her, at Felicia Day. Hey, we are a queer focused podcast.
Why just tweet at her?
Let's
look up her agent's email and send drop a line.
I don't know that I'd be able to like form a coherent sentence. Felicia Day was in the Zoom call, but like it's fine.
I also agree. And my backup plan.
We just let her talk.
My backup plan is if we don't get Felicia Day on for that one, we have KJ come back and pretend to be Felicia Day.
I'll pretend to be Felicia Day. I love Felicia Day.
Now, I've just added Felicia Day to our famous people we're going to meet on tour list, by the way.
Fuck yes. I love that so very much.
If I get to Vancouver and I haven't had a beer with Brennan Lee Mulligan, I have failed.
Oh my God. Wait, do you think that's in the realm of possibility?
Yeah, I do.
Why not? You know, like, if we can't meet up with Brennan Lee Mulligan and Felicia Day at some point across our road trip, speaking of, what's that website address we can send people to if they want to donate to our upcoming tour, thebadactivist.org?
Yes, we will post a link in the description because it's a long URL. But if you want the easy way to find it, just look up Give Butter is the website that we're fundraising through. And the campaign is for the Bad Activist tour.
He should be calling himself the Badass to the
Badass.
Cutting that part out. No, guys. Hey, I realized it didn't work.
Well, no, the reason that he goes by that is because he was giving a talk at a church somewhere in Middle America on one of his first tours, and he said a curse word in it, and one of the women that was at the event was like, "You're setting a terrible example for the children by cursing and having tattoos. You're a bad activist." And he goes, Yeah. And so that's now his nonprofit organization.
I love Jess so much.
And I love him.
Wow. Nice.
But yeah.
Okay. Well, hey, and if anybody out there listening to this podcast happens to know Felicia Day or Brennan Lee Mulligan, send them our way.
Hey, Felicia,
you are Felicia Day.
Oh shit, guys!
Do you think
Felicia Day listens to our podcast?
I think Felicia Day definitely listens to some podcasts.
Listen, I think it is currently unlikely, but not. It doesn't need to remain.
Felicia Day is a huge nerd IRL. Like
Excuse me.
Huge
I do
nerd.
have the exact URL. So
Part
it
of what
is,
makes her delightful in the show.
if
Wait,
anyone,
I'll post it also with the episode.
yeah. If anyone listening wants to check out what the heck Noah and I keep talking about when we keep saying on tour next year, you can go to givebutter.com/thebadactivist.
Oh, okay.
We are 20% of the way to our goal. So check it out. The campaign's running for a few more months. So
Exciting.
help us be nerds on the road and go hug each other in Lawrence, Kansas, among other things.
But anyway, back to Supernatural.
I feel like we should talk about the Bobby of it all.
Let's talk
The body
about
of it all.
I feel like that's the big thing we haven't talked about yet.
Yeah.
I agree.
How are you feeling, Noah?
I'm, in a word, concerned.
How long is Bobby?
Tell
Was
us
it
more.
just the previous episode that that you found out Bobby was still here?
It was the one with Annie where they were at the
was that just like last
I'm
episode?
really sad I wasn't on that episode because I would have.
You've known for a couple episodes, but the boys haven't known until last
the boys
episode.
saw him last episode. And so that was like the real important one. The episode
I was
before
like,
is
it
when I
feels
found
fresh, but I wasn't sure how fresh.
So this is the third episode with Bobby in it since he's passed.
Wow.
Yeah, it's fresh for sure.
I love how he's like busy for a dead guy.
Yes, he's got so much information at the start of this. He's like put in the work, the research. He's like, he knows so much.
Being a hunter.
Yes, because that shit doesn't stop after you die. For Bobby, at least. For some people, it does.
The thing I appreciate the most about Bobby in this whole episode is that right off the bat, he's like, oh yeah, those numbers I was trying to give you when I was dying that I didn't get to finish doing them. Let me make sure you guys know what that was fucking about right off the bat.
He's like, here's the context. This is why I gave you that. This is what they're planning to. Wait, what day is it? Oh shit. Okay, we're too late. Okay, yeah, facts. The scene with him and Charlie in the elevator and like him following Charlie and trying to save her and like making sure she's good. Fucking love it. Love that shit. And then him protecting her on the way out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Phenomenal. She's trying to get out the doors, so he tries to break the doors, but he realizes that he can't fully break them, and so he's like, well, you know what? I'm gonna fight these Leviathans one-on-one. Like, this is me. 1-on-2.
It's so
I'm gonna
good.
take him. He hits the one, so like they can't really attack Charlie. She still gets injured because of it, but like still, okay. He did good. For a Leviathan that could have eaten her, he shut the Leviathan down and was like,
she didn't get eaten, and that's the important thing.
Her arm got broken, but like, hey, you know, you win some.
It'll fix it.
It'll work.
He did become a digestive, so
yeah.
And then he goes one-on-one with the Leviathan leader, Dick motherfucking Roman. And not only does he like push him back once, and then Dick's like, huh, okay, what's up? This is weird. Also, Bobby like breaking the door leaves perfect room for the boys to do a really cool dive through it.
Oh, so good.
Although I have to
sexy.
I want to use this as an moment to cite my number one thing I hate the most as a person who makes films is every scene ever where people jump through glass and are fine because like you got glass like this and you're like you're bleeding all over the place. Like they would be deceased if they jumped through those. But anyway, I did.
Okay, but they're special.
It's the one piece of movie magic that has bothered me my entire
Did you
life.
consider that they're special?
Did you consider they're special?
I mean,
sure.
No.
Well, I had a friend in middle school who fully ran through a glass door, and
I remember that.
Was in the hospital for a while, but he survived.
He was like 9 and he was in the hospital.
Yeah, like because my uncle ran through a glass door when he was 8 because he wanted to try and be Superman, but he ended up with like a thing of glass hanging out of his arm and like has scars from it. So, like,
them walking away is maybe the unrealistic part of this.
Just being like, oh no, let's hop back up and stuff. Anyway,
I stepped on a piece of glass the other day and it still hurts. So.
Exactly, you see what I'm saying?
But I mean,
the plot armor is always strong, but it just always bugs me.
Okay.
For some reason, that made me think about how in the very first Twilight book, like that's like the cover for Bella got the shit beat out of her by vampires, is that she fell through a glass window.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, damage should be high.
But she did fall through a glass window. Like, yes, there were vampires. She just leaves that detail out, but she did.
Yeah.
Like,
but I don't want to alienate our Twilight fans, but is Bella special?
I mean, depends who you ask.
I mean, according to the plot of her own story, she is, but
Oh, wait, sorry, we're talking about Bobby, guys. Okay.
Yeah, let's go back to Bobby.
So he pushes back Dick one time. Oh, fucking facts, KJ. Fucking facts. I'm gonna pump that audio up over mine so people hear that part. But not only that, but then he like hits Dick and launches him across the room, which is something.
Bobby's so
reaction
good at
is
being a ghost
terrifying.
so fast. I'm so proud of him.
He said, "Oh, okay, I got ghost powers. I'm gonna fucking make the most of those. I'm gonna take that shit to heart.
Yep.
If I had
Bobby
a heart."
learned so much. Like we just released our episode for Death Takes a Holiday, where like Tessa's there, and like Pamela like takes Sam and Dean out of their bodies, and they do like a training montage of how to like ghost.
Yep.
And Bobby doesn't have a training montage.
No,
he just
well,
is incredible.
he
figures
kind
it
of-
out.
He does have some training in the prior episode with Annie in the
Yeah.
ghost house.
He's
but
gotten so good though.
my
since
theory
then.
is that whenever he is getting absorbed by the lead ghost there, and then Sam and Dean salt the bones at the same time, all of that lead ghost's power went into Bobby. So he has like way more power than
He
most
does
other
seem to be
ghosts.
really
Fascinating
powerful in this
theory.
episode.
Right. So, and that tracks for Bobby because he's
It does.
powerful ass motherfucker. He punches a Leviathan across the room. We have never seen that happen at
Yeah.
all.
That's because he's Bobby, bitch.
He's Bobby.
Bobby.
I'm just now picturing the like it's Britney bitch, but it's Bobby bitch. Like,
It's Bobby. Bitch.
Actually, I think Bobby's OG plan was kind of good. Like where Bobby was like, just mail the flask in and like I'll just go in there and get what we need.
But
Yeah, but again, I think
Yeah.
their like critique
I
of
think
that
their
was also
concerns were
fair.
valid, but like
and I think August's point earlier about the fact that Charlie was there being the reason that
Yeah.
Bobby didn't go full vengeance
oh,
mode
so good.
is very valid. And I think that's why he held
because
himself back.
Bobby is always Dad Bobby.
Yes.
Yeah.
He cares about his children first. And he
Yeah.
immediately adopted
Yes.
Charlie. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, he was like, oh, can't be evil in front of her. And then the boys got there and he's like, can't be evil in front of them and
Well, I
her.
would have too. I mean, when she has that moment where, like, you know, she's like, okay, like, yeah, this is gonna be terrible. Let's fucking go. Like, you know,
Yeah.
it's like
They're
she's
like-
such a good person.
They're like, you didn't
She
volunteer for this. And she's like, yeah, okay. But I am
But
now.
now.
So
She's like,
What you
I
gonna do
didn't,
about
but
it?
also like I'm in now and I'm going to be in. Like I think she expresses like the best parts of like fandom and of like what it's like to be transformed by a story where like she realizes the kind of story she's in and she goes like, I can be like a brave and heroic kind of character. And like that is enough for her to be like, wow, that's the kind of story I want to tell. Like,
because like the other option she has is to pretend everything's normal and then still end up a victim. Like, and she's
Right.
like, fuck that. No, I'm gonna be a hero. Yes.
Yeah. Or like she could have skipped right to going on the run and
True.
not done the heroic thing. But like she wants to do the right thing because she's a good
I do
human
love
being.
when she says to the guys, see you at the border.
Okay, wait, let's talk about that for a second. She says, never talk to me again. See you at the border. And it's like, peace out, bitches, doing the Vulcan salute.
Yep.
Fucking love it.
I love her.
Charlie's
she's
an
so
icon.
good.
I'm-
She is so good.
Yeah, not to be dramatic or anything, but I would die for her.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'll just say this here and now in episode, what is this, 19? 20? Episode 20? We've still got
Mhm.
3 more episodes. I'm going to say right here, right now, it's going to be hard for any other one-off character this season to beat out Charlie for the best one-off character this season.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's just hands down. Like,
And that's tough because you had Garth already this season.
but he's been in
So-
2.
Yeah,
He's not a
Also,
one-off.
he's Garth. I love him. He's precious, but he's not Charlie.
Yeah.
He doesn't. He also just doesn't count for that category
Yeah.
because he
That's
is.
fair.
Best
I
queer
forgot he was in
character.
twice this
There's
season.
going to be a fight there between Garth and Charlie.
There always is.
Yeah. There won't really
It's getting
be a
harder and harder to
competition.
assign best queer.
The more gays we get, the harder it gets.
Which we're not complaining about. Let's just
Yeah,
be
no, we're
clear
not.
about that. We
Because
are
I'm still
excited.
like remembering when we were on like season 2,
And it
like
was
the
like
season
the
2
one-
finale, talking about Lily.
We were like, let's talk about this one really depressing queer character.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure
Now
she
we
won
get to
best
talk
queer
about-
character and most tragic death. Like
Yeah.
Because she was the
That's
only queer character in the whole second season.
besides
Yeah.
Dean, but yes.
Besides,
yes.
Dean. Like she's the only canon, like
Yeah.
explicitly
Explicit.
queer.
The only
Bleed
out
queer.
queer character.
hmm But now
Oh,
we
very
have come
queer.
so far. You know,
So
season 7,
far.
we've come
We've got,
so
like,
far.
double digits. Ugh,
hmm
do better.
And it's so
Supernatural.
good.
Please get
It's
better.
Still
so
couldn't
good.
pass the Bechdel test, but that's okay. We got Charlie. So.
The
Yeah.
Bechdel discounts have been not great.
Although I love it that like, and I think I've said this on the show before, but I saw a Tumblr post once that referred to him as Robbie, I will pass the Bechdel test if it kills me, Thompson. Because he usually does.
He usually is he's better. And again, I'm like, he like Charlie is such a well fleshed out character
Yeah.
and such a well done character that this episode, so much of this episode centers around
that it doesn't
her
matter.
story.
Like it's
And her story isn't about her and a relationship.
No.
Yeah.
Her story is about her being a hero.
Yeah.
And like that's
Hell
really
yeah.
refreshing it's really refreshing to see when they so often the women in this show are either victims or villains.
Yep. I also like
And she's not either.
Fucking facts. I also like that her office mate that she's best friends with is very queer coded, right? Like he's so we've got 2 canonically confirmed queer characters, and we could argue 3 because Dean knows how to flirt with men and he's on board with it. So like let's say 3. And like that's something that I don't think we've had before. Is that many
No, it's really nice.
Open, active.
It's so nice.
It's very, very
and that's
refreshing.
why I get really sad when people discount the later seasons of the show. Because for all of the, like, I get why the first couple seasons that are Kripke showrun are like on this kind of sacred pedestal in a special place. Like, I get it. But if you chop out everything after season 5, you miss so much of the joy that like they allow queer characters to have. And you know, as the show progresses, there's more characters of color, and it never gets perfect, but it does get better.
No, and I think like people sometimes discount it because they're like, well, the plot of some of the later seasons is like a little bit
that's a little off the rails, which I get,
which is totally fair. But I feel I also agree that like people miss out on I think some of the like really delightful, like some of the best characters we don't get until like we get multiple characters introduced in season 7 and even beyond that are so integral to like what the show is doing, and so many themes that are like explored. Like, yes, some of the big plots are kind of silly, but like a lot of the stuff that they're doing is becoming more progressive, more queer coded, more explicit, more like all these things that are
but we also
really
must remember this is a show where in episode 1 they said, is there anything about you that's real? And he said, my boobs.
Which trans Dean writes.
We'll always have that. We'll always have
Dean's boobs.
Okay, I've got 2 points about that. One, I love to hear that about the future because I think that means our podcast is really going to start to shine above a bunch of the others because we've been focused on this from day 1.
Yeah,
and
we're gonna have more and more to say.
We're just rising up. Love it. And secondly, don't remember what the second point was.
Was it about Bobby?
Nope. It was about whatever you were saying just a second ago, August.
About how it gets gayer as we go.
The plots get worse, but
second point is that like you have to expect that the plots get weirder and wilder after you have them fight the literal devil in season 5. Like, okay.
Yeah, when there's 10 more seasons after that.
Like you've got the power scale gets really fucking ridiculous in this show.
Like, come on.
And like this season's villain feels way less monumental than like the apocalypse 2 seasons ago.
Yeah.
And like that's sort of to be expected. Like they haven't figured out how to power grade.
Even though in this particular episode they are treating them as pretty much synonymous in terms of crisis level.
I think it's somewhat equivalent because for all of Satan's Lucifer's like schemes and manipulations, he was going for like world-ending event. The Leviathans are going for like a slow burn. Let's
domination
see
of humanity.
how we can win this world and eat them all. Like
how can we subjugate the entirety of humanity to be our food source? Is very different than I want a apocalypse level battle that I'm gonna come out on top.
But both still have like the same end result, you know, with like all of humanity dead or enslaved. Like,
and both things get fucked up by the Winchesters.
We love to see it.
I would also like people generally like rank season 7 pretty low in the overall lineup, and like knowing you're almost done the whole season, like the season's almost over.
I'm so far very much enjoying it.
So like if you are like, okay, this might be one of the worst seasons, like you're like, okay, the show's probably not terrible.
It's a show that at its worst is still pretty darn fun.
Well, and still very watchable.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Very
like,
watchable is a good way to describe it.
Yeah. You know, like even when it's bad, it's usually pretty watchable. It's rare to have like for it to be like bad and like unwatchably bad.
Okay.
Yeah, whenever I do my full rewatches, there's only like when I do full rewatches, there's like maybe 4 or 5 episodes that I will just not watch.
Okay. How many?
I definitely wouldn't
already?
say there's more than like maybe one a season, and some seasons there isn't even one.
Okay.
I'm probably a little bit less forgiving than Elena, but I would still say like it's
you are Canadian. Yeah.
No, less forgiving.
That's what I said. Yeah. Wait, less forgiving. Oh,
Yeah.
never mind.
Yeah. I believe
Like,
that
August is
I
less
have more on
like,
my
I'm
list.
way more-
I'll skip more.
Oh, okay.
I'd say that there are more actually bad episodes probably than Elena would.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I would
But I'd still say
agree
it's
that there are
unoriginal.
bad ones, but there are not many that I will refuse to watch.
Unwatchably bad.
And
Yeah.
those one I'm looking up like
666
A list.
Bugs.
to see. Yeah, Bugs is the
I'm
at,
rewatching
like, in-
season 1, but I'm rewatching it in French, so I just watched Bugs in French.
Ooh.
Why are you watching it in French?
Just because I have to rewatch them so I can update some stats for the podcast, and I'm like, well,
and to
I'm
work on
supposed
the
to be,
bilingual.
yeah, I'm supposed to be working on my French, so I might as well.
Ah.
You may as well
Also,
take the
though,
opportunity.
The French dubs have the OG music in season 1, so there is a plus side to
Oh.
them. Also,
Okay, currently at this point, by the way, I would rank season 7 over season 1.
over season 5?
No, over season
Over
1.
season
Sorry.
1.
Oh.
Over season 1.
I was about to say, Noah,
Whoa.
we have to have a sit down.
Whoa, no. Season 4
Season
and 5
one.
are still like back and
As
forth.
they probably will, there's a good chance they'll stay.
But I'm okay. I'll save the season breakdown for the awards and recap. But I have some
There's been
Noah,
some
thoughts
I think
stuff.
so far we've only passed one of my no watch episodes.
Which one was it?
Bugs.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I was like, it's gotta be Bugs.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But I'm looking through. I'm up to season 4.
If it wasn't for Cassie, 666 would be Route 666 would be on that list for me.
yeah, that one's
See,
pretty rough.
that's the
but
thing
I
is,
do
even
love
on rough
Cassie.
episodes, they're often like saving
Cassie.
things that make the episode enjoyable
Yeah.
or watchable, at least watchable.
Yeah.
That's like the thing with Super. I'd be very curious, like if you're listening to this episode, do you have episodes that you think are unwatchable, and like what episodes are they? Like tell us on Discord or on Twitter or something, because I'm really curious about like what makes people's unwatchable list when it comes to Supernatural.
I must be
Yeah.
all up in that conversation thread.
Yeah, we'll put a thread on the Discord to say
Yeah, because I'm
and-
curious
and-
for other people's as well. Yeah, so Bugs is my only no watch in the first 7 seasons. But my other no watches,
What are your other no watches? Can you send me that list?
yeah, I'm scrolling through it right now.
I really liked at the end of the episode when Charlie's like, you guys didn't really think my name was Charlie Bradbury. Like, I've disappeared
Ooh.
before, I can do it again.
I
It's a
love
fun
how
little thing
shocked
to
they
just
are.
drop on them.
Yeah.
I like that this is a novel idea for Sam and Dean, given how many times they've been wanted by the FBI, that they haven't just straight up changed their names.
Yeah.
That's been their last name.
That's a
Like,
good
you guys
point.
haven't ever considered doing that?
Sam
Just
and
going
Dean
by an alias all the time.
Finchester.
Like, they were just so shocked by the idea. And maybe that was like shocked that like this person that they know who's like objectively an amazing human being like would have need to have taken on an assumed identity already. We don't
Yeah.
really
That
get
makes
an
sense.
age for how old Charlie is, but she does seem to be younger than them.
Yeah. A little bit, at least.
Also, I know that there's not really space for it in Supernatural, but like I would really like a day in the life of Charlie pre this day.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
like Charlie seems to like be filled with confidence. She seems to really, I mean, she's having a good week, as she says.
Yeah.
And I'd like to go through one of the days in that good week where Charlie is meeting new people and like it is hooking up at a reproductive rights function. I want to go to a reproductive
Yes.
rights function with Charlie.
Yeah. How many people do you know that would dance like that in a glass elevator?
That honestly did throw me a little bit because I am so conscious of people looking at me all the time, even when I know that they aren't.
Constantly.
Paige, literally
the
Sam's
fact that she
roommate.
dances like that in a clear glass elevator, I'm like, babe, you're amazing.
It made me
Iconic.
wonder if the
She
elevator
looks
wasn't
around
really
like
glass.
no one's looking.
Uh-huh.
Like she checks it to see if no one's looking, and then it's like it's a glass honey.
And you're
Sam's
moving
roommates
up. You didn't
literally
glance
said-
up at all.
Yeah.
Sam's roommate, literally, we're watching this, and Sam's roommate says, she knows it's a glass elevator, right? Like, she knows everyone can see her, right? Like, what?
It made me think it made me wonder if the elevator was supposed to be like one-way glass where like you could see out but not in, but like we're seeing in because like we're
The camera.
supposed to see in.
Mhm.
Who knows?
But like I don't know. I don't think that's true. I think Charlie's just dancing in that elevator.
Yeah. That's what I have to believe.
If that was the intention that like it was supposed to be like, oh, like one-way glass, like only people in the elevator can see out and people outside can't see in except for us because we're the audience, then they did not establish that well enough. And also it is an elevator that's like clear. When Charlie like gets out, you can see outside.
He loved this episode. It's
I
very
love
good.
this episode. I love
Very
Charlie.
clearly.
And
I love Sam and Dean loving Charlie.
Yes.
it's just all around like a really strong, like one of the most strong all around episodes I think we've had in a while.
Oh, good.
Like not a lot to complain about here. It's just really good. Yeah, so that's gonna bring us to the end of this episode and our final section, which is our character blessings. Does anyone want to take us away with our first blessing?
I don't want to.
No, you do.
Jump in there, but you know what? I do kind of. I'm gonna bless my
Noah.
man, my boy.
You Willikers, Noah. I wonder who you're gonna bless.
I'm gonna bless Bobby. Surprise, surprise.
Oh, I'm so
No
shocked.
way.
Love him. Love his
Oh my
effort. Love
gosh.
his work. Love him protecting his kids, not just his boys, but his kids, and him holding himself back from getting vengeance on someone who really rightfully deserves it. Him holding himself back because he knows not just that his kids are concerned about him crossing that line, but he's also concerned about himself crossing that line.
Yeah.
Love that. Love to see that develop in him. And I can't wait to see where it goes, but I'm also so concerned as a person. But I love him for that, and blessings for him to hold strong to that in the coming years, I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
I'll go. I would like to bless Charlie's coworker because like his bestie isn't there anymore, and like he doesn't have anyone to live vicariously through now that she's had to leave her job at Roman Enterprises. And I want the best for him. Like I want him to be drunk at Comic-Con. I want that for him. So
Good.
blessings to that guy.
No surprise to anybody, I would like to bless Sam.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know I already talked about this, but just the way that he interacts with Charlie is really sweet. And I really do like how they're like him and Dean are getting along, which is not something that we've seen. And I hope that continues.
Yeah. Agreed.
Very well
Love that.
done.
KJ, who do you want to bless?
I was gonna bless Sam for exactly the reason that Sam just blessed Sam.
Sorry.
So I'm gonna move my blessing over to Charlie for just being an incredible human being.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Like just like a good person to like want to risk her life to save the world, and then also like being capable enough to pull it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's
I hope that she makes it to the border safely and goes and lives her life and never hears from Sam or D. Winchester again.
Yep. That's usually the best case scenario. I am gonna bless Dean for being able to have a moment where he's able to be like a good older sibling. He says about Charlie, she's kind of like the little sister I never wanted, but like the way he's saying it, like he absolutely did want Charlie. And it's so delightful to watch him get to be an older sibling in like a really positive, non-traumatic way. Like they rescue Charlie. They don't need to really rescue Charlie because Charlie is so capable, but also like they just get to work together and they get to vibe off each other. They get to have gay like queerness sort of like like he gets to be around an openly out queer person, which how often does Dean ever get that? Like I think that's really good for him.
Yeah.
And really
Wait, you guys, there's a
comfortable for
whole
him.
thing we didn't even talk about.
What did we talk about?
We didn't even talk about that scene where Sam and Dean heisted the airport bag.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That was good.
They
Was
had a
pretty
silly
solid.
little outfit and everything, and they like
It is
literally
good.
blew up Dick Roman. Like they also did some cool stuff. Also, I'd like, can I have a like runner-up blessing for
Yeah.
Frank? It's a
Go for
bit
it.
late because Frank's dead, but
Whoa.
We bless.
Aww.
We don't know.
Frank had their back. Like he set up all that shit with his hard drive to be like, hey, just in case somebody tries to break into my hard drive, here's how you find it before they break into it. It has all of your shit on it, including your names and the location of your car and all of your crap.
That's another thing. Dean's face when he heard that bit was like, baby?
Yep.
Like Frank was a real like, I don't know, he was coming in clutch when he was like, oh, just in case something happens, which I know like Frank's whole thing is he's always thinking about just what if something bad happens, but like for him to have the thought to be like, oh, in case something bad does happen, here's how Sam and Dean aren't totally screwed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also like another fun little piece of trivia from the wiki for this episode. Robbie Thompson wanted Frank to actually be in this episode, but the actor was busy, and so that's why we got Charlie.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah.
Thank God.
Wait,
So honestly, like,
2012?
yeah.
So they would have filmed this late 2011.
Yeah.
He was probably doing a Pirates of the Caribbean.
Probably.
Probably.
Hey, was
Probably.
That's Gibbs.
I feel like, I know that, but I mean, I thought that was already out by that point.
The first one was, but
the first one for sure. But I think
second, or it been the second or the third one?
Yeah.
Anyway, I appreciate you giving that extra blessing to Frank. And
the fourth one came out in 2011.
The fourth one.
That's what I'm saying. I
don't think he was in that one.
They came out really close together. Wow, those movies came out.
I was like,
oh no, he was. Sorry.
They came out when I was in.
Okay, so never mind. They weren't. Well, it's possible they were filming. Anyway,
one of them came out in 2011.
Something.
Yeah,
he was busy doing something.
He's a busy guy.
Pretty busy for a dead guy.
Yeah, that's going to bring us to the end of this episode. Thanks, y'all. That was fun.
This was such a good episode.
I loved it. I love y'all.
Thanks for being back, KJ.
Thanks for having me back.
Yes, it was great to talk to you on a supernatural episode.
Yeah, honestly, at this point, it doesn't really feel like being back. It just feels like I'm here where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Speaking of things, where KJ is involved and it feels just like home, make sure everyone out there listens to Saving People Queering Things wherever you listen to podcasts, because on that feed, you find our Queering People Saving Throws, which is all of us here on this chat taking a dive into queer D&D adventures, releasing most likely every other Friday right here on our feed. But also, speaking of, we are gearing up to swap that into its own separate feed for the end of our first season, which you'll get more information about that once we get closer to the end. But stay tuned. Share it with your friends, please.
You can also join our free Discord server, find links to our socials, and catch up on the latest season mixtapes, all at our website, queeringthingspodcast.com.
Be sure to ride along with us next week as we explore Season 7, Episode 21, Reading is Fundamental, through the theme of youth.
Thank you all for coming along for the ride, and we wish you a peaceful route until we meet again.